San Antonio, Texas, 80 miles south of Austin, where Mack Brown has spent 16 years as the head coach at the University of Texas. Tonight, that book will close as the final chapter in his brilliant career is written here in the Alamo Dome. The third highest ranked team ever to play here provides the opposition, led by one of the nation's elite quarterbacks. The 10th ranked Ducks of Oregon. The Longhorns of Texas. The Valero Alamo Bowl is next. Let's go! And we welcome you to the 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. And our matchup, a battle between the Pac-12 and the Big 12. It's the Oregon Ducks and the Longhorns of Texas. Welcome to San Antonio, everybody, and happy holidays. Brad Nessler along with Todd Blackledge. Oregon comes in as the #3 team in the nation in scoring, Todd. They started off brilliantly. 8-0 on the season. They got as high as #2 in the BCS. Then they hit a little rocky road in November, and we find out now there might be a reason for that.
Well, everybody knew that Marcus Mariota, their quarterback, got banged up down the stretch, but the severity was pretty much unknown. He had a partial tear in his left MCL in the UCLA game. He never complained, he never made an excuse, and he never missed a snap down the stretch. But clearly, the Oregon offense was missing a dynamic part of it without him as a running threat. Now, he is maybe not 100%, but he's healthier now than he's been in a long time, and I expect him to play extremely well for this Oregon offense tonight.
They are coming off a win, dramatic fashion in the Civil War, and beating their arch rivals from Oregon State in the final 29 seconds. So they come into this 10-2 on the season, 7-2 in Pac-12 play. And the Ducks of Oregon about set to take the field here at the Alamo Dome. They will take flight right now. They have a very great following, but still this place is full of burnt orange. And there's a reason for that. Because for Texas fans, they're going to remember the Alamo, whether it's win or lose tonight, because it's Mack Brown's final time on the sideline after 16 seasons and 158 wins. If he gets to 159, what do his Longhorns have to do tonight to pull an upset?
You know, Oregon likes to use the slogan, win the day. For Texas, it's win the line of scrimmage. They must win the game up front. Defensively, their front, which is one of the strengths of their team, has to be disruptive in the run game and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback when they try to throw the football. And on offense, they must run the football. And if you want to benchmark, 200 yards is the number. Under Mack Brown, when the Longhorns run for 200 or more, they're 81-2.
They started off the season 1-2. Then they put it together, and they, in fact, played for the Big 12 title in their loss to Baylor in their last outing. So it's one more chance to make their coach a happy man. After a great career at North Carolina, 16 years in Austin as the head man, and it all comes to a close tonight. One more pregame interview for Mack Brown, and it's with Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach, you've been adamant that you don't want this game tonight to be about you, that you want the focus on your team. So what is it that they do need to focus on to win against Oregon tonight?
Well, Oregon's a great team. They're a BCS caliber team. They've got tremendous speed. A team that 4 or 5 weeks ago could have been playing for the national championship. We got to be us. Got to run the ball. Got to try to stop the run, get them in long yardage situations. We got to hit some key passes, and they've been really good in the kicking game. So we've got to be better than them tonight in the kicking game.
You say running the football is crucial. You've had some depletion on your offensive line. You're down to 2 scholarship running backs. What will be the biggest challenge you have to overcome to run the ball?
Well, let's hope we've got it enough, and they're really tired, and that's an issue, Holly. But right now, it's not an issue. We're going to play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
On the other side is Mark Helfrich in his first year as a head coach of the Ducks of Oregon. And he said to us yesterday, it's been like a 3-day coaching clinic being around Mack Brown. Kind of a mentorship in a hurry over the last 48 hours or so. And Nick Aliotti, another longtime great, the defensive coordinator, 22 years he's been on the Oregon staff. This will be his final game tonight. He's decided to retire, and he's one of the classics in all of college football. Max got the headset on one more time, looking for his 245th career win. And of course, the College Football Hall of Fame will come calling when he's done. The eyes of Texas indefinitely were upon him all those years. Second only to Darrell Royal in victories in Austin. Texas won the toss. They want the football. Matt Wogan's got it teed up. That's Marcus Johnson back deep. Duke Thomas will join him there. 52nd all-time bowl appearance for the Texas Longhorns. Only Alabama has made more. Valero Alamo Bowl underway. The kick is deep and won't be returned. So that'll bring out Case McCoy and the offense for Texas. Of course, the younger brother of Colt McCoy, and that's maybe the last really good quarterback, if not great quarterback, that Texas has had, and that's been part of the problem, actually, in Austin.
Well, Case McCoy started out as the backup to David Ash. David Ash was injured in the third ball game. Case took over, went 6-3 as a starter, and the key for him tonight, end every possession with a kick. Extra point, field goal, or punt. Don't take unnecessary risks with the football.
So from the 25-yard line in a loaded backfield, it'll be the give to Malcolm Brown, and stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Rodney Hardrick made the tackle from his linebacker position as we take a look at our impact players tonight. And Malcolm Brown will have to make an impact. They've got to get a running game going. Jackson Shipley, with Mike Davis a little bit gimpy, has got to be the key man as a receiver. Tony Washington, leading sacker for the Ducks, and on the back end, Ekpre Alomu is an all Pac-12 defensive back. Now they got something going with a running game, first down, and a lot more.
Late flag, though.
Back at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, Jackson Shipley, I thought, did a nice job of not blocking in the back, but a late flag.
Holding, offense number 8.
Not a good enough down, I guess. Nope. And it's all coming back.
They got outside. Watch Shipley. Well, there it was right away. When I saw it, he was getting out of the way, but he grabbed initially, and a good call by the official.
He hooked Avery Patterson, the safety, so it all comes back now to the 17-yard line.
And this is what Texas cannot afford to do, and that's get off schedule.
Yep.
They have to stay ahead of the chains, run the football, and then throw off a play action when they want to, not when the defense dictates.
That's a spot foul, so it makes it second down and 18. Play action. McCoy's going to go long down the left sideline. Just overshot Marcus Johnson, who had maybe a half step on Ekpre Olomu. So they took a shot at the home run, and it was close.
Yep. Pretty good throw. Good position for the ball by McCoy. Outside. Either your guy gets it or nobody does.
So now third down and a mile. Texas was 41% on their third down conversions this year, but you don't convert a lot of 3rd and 18s. Ducks thinking about a blitz, and they bring it. McCoy down the middle, and it's intercepted, and it's Patterson coming the other way. Avery Patterson, and he's in. Touchdown, Oregon. As Todd said, don't get behind schedule. 3rd and 18's behind schedule. And it's a 37-yard interception return for a touchdown. And now the Ducks show the formation shifted to the left. And now everybody will come in. And Matt Wogan will attempt the point after. The last thing you want to do against a high-scoring offensive team is give them a defensive touchdown. And that's just what Texas did. A gift. Little over a minute into the ball game. Case McCoy, late throw over the middle, high, deflected. Patterson, the senior safety, takes it 37 yards. 7-0 Ducks.
On behalf of Valero, welcome to the 21st Annual Valero Alamo Bowl. I'm here with University of Oregon head coach Mark Helfrich and University of Texas head coach Mack Brown, whose teams have earned the right to play in one of college football's premier bowl games. As title sponsor, Valero is proud to be a part of America's bowl tradition that supports hardworking student athletes and scholars. So, no matter who you're rooting for,
Go Ducks.
Hook 'em.
we hope you enjoy tonight's game and we wish you a happy new year.
7-0 Oregon. The third pick six thrown by Texas quarterback this year, Todd.
Well, Jackson Shipley is the go-to guy on third down, so they have Ekpe Alamo on him. Now Shipley is going to actually get separation and is open, but the ball is thrown high, and that enables Avery Patterson, the safety, over the top to get the deflection. It would have been a catch, potentially a first down. The errant throw results not only in the turnover, but the first score of the game for Oregon.
The 12th interception thrown by McCoy this year, and the third pickoff of the year for Avery Patterson, who took it the distance. So Wogan kicks off again, and again this one won't be returned, and they'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. Texas started the season, as I mentioned earlier, 1-2, and that was not a good thing for Mack Brown and the Longhorns. Losses to BYU and Ole Miss. Then they got it together, put together a string of wins, including a win in the Red River rivalry over Oklahoma, and then got all the way to the Big 12 title game and would have won the Big 12 with a win, but they lost that regular season, that last game, to Baylor 30-10. And then a couple of weeks ago, Mack Brown resigned or announced his resignation, coaching his final game tonight. So Texas will start again. Remember, they had a good run on their second carry of the ball game before the holding call, and this is Malcolm Brown, who gets out for 5 or 6 on that carry as we check in with Holly.
Well, after the interception, Case McCoy came to the sideline and he was just sick. He's told us his one job tonight was to take care of the football. So Mike Davis, his wide receiver, kept pounding him on the shoulder pads. You got this, man. You got this, man. They talked about what they can change on that route. He's trying to get back into the game. He says that being resilient is one of the qualities that has really helped them this season. We'll see if they're resilient after that mistake.
There's his career numbers, including the 19th interception a couple of minutes ago. Second down and 4. McCoy in the gun. Malcolm Brown to his right, and whistles and flags stop this play. And it's going to be a false start on Texas.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Our officials are from the ACC. Our referee, Dennis Hannigan. So 2 penalties on running play so far, and that's not good.
And that's the most experienced offensive lineman for Texas, Mason Walters, the right guard, making his 51st consecutive start tonight. And again, Texas cannot afford those kind of mistakes. They have to do all the little things right to have a chance against Oregon.
They'll keep it on the ground, and this one only back to the line of scrimmage. Kaylee Keefe on the inside, defensive tackle in on the stop. That brings up 3rd down and long again.
And again, that 5-yard penalty seems kind of innocent.
Yeah.
But instead of having a 3rd and 3 or 4, they have 3rd and 9. So the first 2 third down plays of the game for Texas, both long yardage type situations.
And as you see, kind of middle of the pack on the 3rd down conversions this year. 3rd down and 9. McCoy in trouble, threw off his back foot, got it complete, but it's short of a first down. Got it to Kendall Sanders, and he's going to come up a couple yards shy. It'll be 4th, and Texas will have to kick. Got some pressure that time from DeForest Buckner, and throwing off his back foot, did complete it. That'll bring out the punting unit. Anthony Farah, who does both the punting and place kicking chores for the Longhorns, set to kick. Braylon Addison waits on the other end, and he's got a couple return for touchdowns this year.
Switched and put a couple heavy guys back there to protect.
Nice kick. Addison, fair catch over near the sideline and runs out of bounds around the 24. 11:38 remaining in the first quarter. Marcus Mariota and the offense for the Ducks on the field for the first time when we come back.
The 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl is brought to you by Valero, keeping America moving. The Quicksilver card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. And the all-new 2014 Chevy Silverado.
Good pep rally earlier this week with the Longhorns and the Ducks both in attendance with all their fans. Been a fun few days here. Good turnout by the Oregon people. Most of them are in our hotel.
Yeah.
A lot of green. A lot of green. Right now they're in front 7-0. This is their first offensive snap. Their score came on an interception return for a touchdown if you're just joining us. So Marcus Mariota and the offense, first down from the 24. Straight up the middle goes to the 30. And Byron Marshall, pickup of 6. And a hurry up. They don't huddle much. So there's the numbers on Marcus this year. And a quick snap. Looking for his first throw. He might not get it off. And again shows his running ability right there. And that's something that was taken away from him with that knee injury you talked about.
Yeah, the severity of his injury, again, which most people didn't know, really took his ability to extend plays and also as a designed quarterback runner in this offense. And really that left knee also hampers your ability as a right-handed quarterback to transfer weight and drive the football downfield.
And here he is running again. And a first down. Pickup of 12 more for Marcus Mariota.
See, when he was rolling and healthy, this zone read aspect of their offense, whether it's either the give or the quarterback keep, was very effective.
They're going 100 miles an hour right now. Running to his left and running for his life. And he got away from Texas again. And he might have another first down as he's knocked out of bounds right at the first down marker by Carrington Bynum.
I think this is why both Mark Helfrich and Scott Frost were smiling so big when they came into our meetings last night, because they know that they have their quarterback healthy again. And even though he may not be 100%, he doesn't need surgery, and he looks awfully good, playing without a brace on the knee, and so far in the first possession, looks really good.
That was Scott Frost you saw there in the press box, the offensive coordinator, former quarterback star in his own right at Nebraska in his playing days. Straight up the middle, and they're just getting chunk yardage right now. Byron Marshall might have another first down, really close anyway. Peter Jenkins made the tackle. And this is vintage Duck offense right here. No huddles and getting a snap off about every 14 seconds.
And if you don't change the line of scrimmage against their run game, you have no chance of stopping them running the football. They're one of the best in the country at getting 4 or 5 yards down the field before contact if you don't disrupt things at the front.
Play action pass this time. Mariota down the middle on the run. And another first down at the 12 for Josh Huff. Josh Huff, one of our impact players. We haven't had a chance to tell you that because they won't slow down enough for us to tell you.
Well, and he's a Texas native out of Houston. Very, very important game in his mind and for him. Had some injury problems his first couple years. Has had an outstanding season this year as a senior.
At the 12-yard line. This time, Texas might have them bottled up, and they do. It's going to be a loss of a yard for Marshall. Adrian Phillips ran him out of bounds, and that's Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, who took over as defensive coordinator after the BYU game. Manny Diaz was released at that point after they gave up 1 million yards on the ground to the Cougars.
Well, and more than half of those yards were to the quarterback. And that's one area that they've really had trouble this year, especially early in the season, stopping a mobile, athletic quarterback running the football.
First time Oregon's been behind the chains a little bit. Second down and 12. And Mariota's going to change things up here for the first time. And he's going to take a timeout.
Yep.
So Oregon on the march, down in the red zone, threatening with their offense for the first time after scoring defensively. 10-10 remaining in the first quarter. We talked about Oregon. They got off to a great start as well. Started off Won their first 8 games, scored 40 points or more in all of those. Got up to number 2. Then a loss at 5th-ranked Stanford and against Arizona. Second straight season they've lost to Stanford, by the way. And then came back, and in the final half minute, it was Josh Huff with a touchdown catch with 29 seconds to go. And they beat Oregon State in the Civil War 36-35. So they come in 10-2.
Yeah. And what the coaches told us, that they were most surprised with the Arizona game. They felt like they played hard in the Stanford game, just got outplayed, got too far behind, made a valiant comeback. They, cut it to 26-20 before time ran out. But in the Arizona game, the coaches didn't feel like their team, for whatever reason, played hard and was ready to play. And that was really disappointing. They came back and had to really fight their way for the win against Oregon State in their big rivalry game. But again, the health of Marcus Mariota is a big part of what they do well offensively.
Over 4,000 yards by himself in total offense. Thomas Tyner in the lineup in the backfield for the first time. 8th play of the Oregon drive.
I think the mobility of a quarterback in the red zone is especially effective.
He's going to keep it after faking it to Tyner. And Mariota to the corner. Didn't get the first down, and a flag flies in at the 5. And let's see if this one's coming back. Marcus lost his helmet too, but he was out of bounds when that happened.
Holding, offense number 32. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Bayless, the tight end, is the guilty party, and it's all coming back.
Bayless is on the end of the line of scrimmage right here, number 32. He's going to be the lead blocker, getting out there. He's in position. Ties him up, but see, the hands are on the outside. And that's what the officials saw and why the flag came out. If those hands are inside on the shoulder pads, he's not going to get that call. But they were outside the shoulders, and that drew the flag.
Negates an 11-yard gain, and it would have been a yard shy of a first down as it is. And with the spot foul penalty. And I talked about Marcus Mariota losing his hat, but I thought it was out of bounds. I guess it doesn't matter. He's coming out. Jeff Lockey's coming in. So Lockey, who hasn't played much at all, in to take at least one snap for the Oregon offense.
And they've got an empty backfield for him on 2nd and long.
And 3 wide receivers to the top and 2 to the left. 2nd down, 13. Lockey, it's a run all the way.
There was movement up front. Again, new quarterback, new voice, new cadence, and a jump up front by Oregon. So we're seeing them go backwards a little bit here after being virtually unstoppable.
Offense number 24, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Well, Marcus coming back in. Lockey goes out. It's like giving 5 yards to get your regular quarterback back in there. Now 2nd down and 18. This is when.
Wait a minute. Now they're telling him he can't come back in for this play.
It's got to be one play, not a penalty play. Tom McCreesh from the ACC is with us up here in the booth. Tom, what's the call on that one?
Well, Brad, when you have a helmet come off and the player is still in the field, he must go off for one play. If there is a foul, he has to stay out for that one play.
So it's an official play and a penalty doesn't count.
That's
right?
correct.
Thanks, Tom. Great having Tom up here with us. Straightens things like that out. So it's Lockey, at least one more snap. 2nd down and 18, and he dropped the ball and he has to cover it. Tyner ran into him. And now Mariota can come back in officially. But he finds himself on a 3rd down and a whole bunch.
Well, and this is exactly what Texas would have hoped for. Obviously not knowing Mariota was going to leave the field, but the negative plays, stopping some of the momentum and putting them into a pass situation where those defensive ends, Reed and Jeffcoat, can get after the quarterback.
And they're quite a pair, both all Big 12 performers. Jeffcoat, number 44, standing up. And here goes Mariota running anyway. He's going to be run out before he can get to the first down marker. But still, they got a whole lot of that back, 18 yards. And that'll set up their field goal unit for what should be a chip shot.
Again, the ability of a quarterback to be a dual threat guy in the red zone makes an offense very difficult to defend. You want to rush the passer, you want to play man-to-man and run with receivers. If you leave a crease, a good quarterback like that's going to find it. Unfortunately for Oregon, just too much yardage needed for that conversion.
Ducks don't kick a lot of field goals, whether it be Maldonado or this guy, Wogan. Matt is 4 out of 5, as you saw on the season. 25-yard attempts, and it's up and good. So Oregon had a good drive going there before their quarterback lost his helmets. A couple of penalties backed him up. He did get a big chunk of it back, though, and set him up for the field goal. 10-0, Oregon in front.
Be important that I go to Texas and start building.
They come into Lincoln and snap a 47-game home winning streak.
Ricky Williams, touchdown! The record is his. Texas wins an amazing Rose Bowl.
Texas has defeated Southern California to win the national championship.
One last time, the Texas Longhorns break the hearts of the Aggies.
It's time for me to move on and let someone else come in and restart the program.
Some of the highlights and, of course, lowlights. The resignation a couple of weeks ago. And everybody here to send Mack off, they would hope, with a win. But right now his team is down 10-0. The 10th winningest coach all time. This kick might be returnable. Duke Thomas. And he just got to the 20, and that's all. National championship at the end of the 2005 season. Bevo honoring Mack tonight instead of Bevo on his snout. He's got Mack in leather. 158 wins, second only to Darrell Royal, as I mentioned earlier. The BCS championship. They played in another one, and had Colt McCoy not gotten hurt, maybe would have won that one.
Would have had a great chance to win. Alabama ultimately won that game. And really, since that point, in the last 4 years, they've been 30-20, and the biggest reason, lack of consistency from the quarterback position.
Nice run by Malcolm Brown, weaving through traffic for 7 yards.
I think this possession may be the most critical possession for Texas in this ball game, because they can't afford to fall too far behind Oregon, because Oregon doesn't take their foot off the gas pedal. They're going to continue to score and move the football. Texas needs to slow things down a little bit here, and again establish the running game with their big offensive line.
And this time on the sweep, Brown breaks free into the secondary. Another good run by Malcolm Brown, and no flags this time. So they had the same amount of yards penalty-wise as they did offense, but they get 12 more right here.
Nice job, Malcolm Brown, following his tight end, Jeff Swain, number 82.
And now Texas goes tempo without a huddle. Straight up the middle, but Brown will be stood up after a yard gain, and that's it. Of course, Texas lost Jonathan Gray, who was a sensational tailback, as he injured his Achilles in the West Virginia game. So Holly mentioned this earlier. They're down to 2 tailbacks. That's about it.
Right. Well, they're without Gray. Of course, there was a pretty good one. Yeah, he was a pretty good one. Ricky Williams. And they also have 2 that are suspended. Dajae Johnson and Jalen Overstreet, both suspended for academic reasons, are not here as well.
Here's Brown again. A good, tough run, and he's still standing up about 2 yards shy of the first down, and the ball comes out at the end, but that one was whistled dead.
And I think because of that lack of depth at the tailback position, we won't see as much tempo out of Texas as maybe they would have liked to run. They're going to have to huddle and save those guys a little bit. You're going to have Joe Bergeron and Malcolm Brown, the only 2 guys carrying the football. Now, Malcolm Brown, when Jonathan Gray was healthy, he was averaging 20 carries a game, and they were kind of going back and forth. But since Gray got hurt, his carries have bumped up to 26 carries a game, and so he has really upped his workload, but he's been up for the challenge as well.
I'm assuming he's going to get it here again on 3rd and 2, and he gets it again. And he's into Oregon territory, down to the 45-yard line. First down, Texas.
Nice job blocking by Swaim and Mason Walters. Watch number 72. The right guard pull around, get a block on the linebacker. The tight end kicks out. And that's just good power football for Texas. Again, the strength and the advantage they have is they're a bigger, more physical group at the line of scrimmage. And they've got big blocking tight ends as well.
So in Oregon territory at the 43. And now Bergeron's going to give Brown a breather. And he goes down right at the line of scrimmage. Might have lost a yard as Ekpre Alamo in on the stop. This is a guy that has the opportunity probably to come out and go to the NFL if he chooses. Has not made up his mind yet. Said he'll talk things over with his parents, who right now are in Nigeria.
Right.
And got to wait till they get back before he thinks NFL. 5 straight runs by the Longhorns. And now play action. McCoy going to go deep. Got a man out there, and again just overshot. This time Mike Davis. So he's gone long twice, and he's had a little too much on it.
When Oregon chooses to blitz and play man-to-man, Texas is going to take some shots down the field, and that's what happened. Oregon brought pressure. One guy comes free, and McCoy just a little bit outside with this throw. Davis had his man beat to the inside with the ball a little bit too far over his outside shoulder. I mentioned Davis. He's only practiced a couple days here in the last month. He has a hip issue. He did practice the last couple days. Looked okay running on that route.
Third time Texas has been 3rd and 9 or longer.
And again,
3rd and 11 here.
Shipley in the slot and Alamo on him.
They're going to play it safe on the ground. And getting to the 40-yard line is Bergeron. And that's about 6 yards shy of a first down. And this might be Neverland here. They might go for this on 4th down and 6.
Looks like they are. Major Applewhite, the offensive coordinator. Mac Brown told us, you know, we're going to play to win. We're going to do what we always do. We're not going to just take a lot of unnecessary risks. But I think this is where you have to go for it. Again, this possession, I think, critical for Texas in this ball game.
It's actually 7 yards to go on 4th down. 3 receivers to McCoy's left, and he's going that way on the crossing route, and he's got it. And it is Jackson Shipley, and Matt Brown says, move the sticks.
At the last minute, they moved Shipley out into the middle of 2 other receivers and then brought him on a quick slant. It was a late adjustment of the formation. And again, on 3rd or 4th down, that's where Case McCoy is looking to go with the football. Jackson Shipley, the majority of his receptions result in a first down.
A big one there to move it to the 32-yard line of Oregon. McCoy on first down to throw over the middle and completes it. Breaking a tackle is Bergeron, and he's got another first down. And now Texas is going to go tempo a little bit. They come up to the line in a hurry.
Nice job by Bergeron, the outlet receiver, getting right up the field and getting extra yardage.
Now back to Bergeron. Broke one tackle, a stiff arm, didn't get away. Whoa, he did get away. Somehow kept his balance. And let's see, he's okay. That was an awkward landing.
Now Bergeron hurt his foot after 3 carries in the Baylor game and sat out the rest of the game. Great job maintaining his balance on that one.
12th play of the drive. And in the red zone at the 17-yard line. Malcolm Brown back in. Texas on a pistol set, and he goes straight up the middle. And he's going to drive his way down for 4 more. And this is a good-looking Texas drive.
And obviously the conversion on 4th down huge, but they have stayed ahead of the chains for the most part on this drive. Right now, they're in the red zone. They're 3rd and 2. A running play, a typical power run, is very much in play right now on this 3rd down.
Their first 2 possessions, they had penalties on both. They haven't had one this drive. 13th play of the drive. De La Torre, the fullback, in an eye now with Brown, the tailback. Brown, first down, and it's 1st and goal at the 9.
See, 3rd down and 2, you bring an extra tight end in, and you say, we're going to run power football. We don't think this Oregon defense can line up and play smash-mouth football. If they get us behind the chains and they can rush the passer and play to their strength, which is their secondary, they have the advantage. If we can stay ahead of the chains, you're saying this if you're Texas, then we have the advantage with our front and with our tight ends.
Davis and Shipley, the wide receivers, but It's been this guy, Malcolm Brown, that's got him down to the 9-yard line. He'll tote it again on 1st and goal. And Brown running over Ducks down to the 2-yard line.
Again, 2 tight ends. Jeff Swain, number 82, on the end of the line. Donald Hawkins, the left tackle, with a nice block at the point of attack.
And now 2nd down and goal at the 2. A 6-minute drive by the Longhorns. Brown driving to the goal line. He's close. Inside the 1.
The other thing this drive is doing, not only is it getting Texas in scoring territory, it's allowing that Texas defense to rest, and Greg Robinson and his defensive assistants to kind of gather the troops and get better prepared for the next time they face Marcus Mariota.
And it's keeping the Oregon offense on the sideline. 3rd down and goal. The 16th play of the Longhorn drive, and you can see it's the length of the football from the goal line. Malcolm Brown has done most of the damage to get him to this point. And it's straight ahead for McCoy. Touchdown, Texas. And you know he feels good about scoring after throwing an interception earlier. 1-yard touchdown by Case McCoy.
Went right behind his center, Dominic Espinosa. I'm sure Oregon was expecting another run by Malcolm Brown. And Texas got the quarterback sneak in for the touchdown.
Anthony Farah in for the point after. Up and good. A 7-minute, 12-second drive by the Texas Longhorns. Just what the Longhorn doctor ordered. 1:24 remaining first quarter. Mack Brown's Longhorns back in it, 10-7.
Wake up. The future is upon us. Who will define it? Who will defend it? Who will explore it? Who will celebrate it? Who will change the world and change themselves in the process? You will. This is the University of Oregon.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
So Ledge, Oregon got 10 points in about 3 minutes and 17 seconds. Texas got 7 points in 7 minutes and 12 seconds.
And the most critical possession for Texas in this ball game. Power running, time consuming. The first 2 Texas offensive drives, they had 7 plays, only 15 yards, had a turnover, a couple penalties. That time, no penalties, 16 plays, 79 yards, and paid off with the touchdown.
So Nick Rose will kick off. That's DeAnthony Thomas. And don't give him a chance, because he'll take advantage of it. One of the most dangerous running back return men combos in college football. And he's got a chance from 2 yards deep. Great speed. But he slowed down and knocked down before to get to the 25-yard line. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues later on tonight. Taylor Kelly and the Sun Devils square off against the Red Raiders in the National University Holiday Bowl. All part of Capital One Bowl Week. Number 14, Arizona State against Texas Tech tonight, 10:15 on ESPN. Second meeting between those two teams. We just got done seeing Arizona State a few weeks ago in the Pac-12 title game. And it was a great start for Texas Tech, and then it fizzled a little bit. We'll see if they put it back together tonight when we're done here. We have 1:18 remaining in the first quarter. Good game. Oregon with an interception return for a touchdown and a 25-yard field goal. And as I said, their time of possession virtually nothing compared to what Texas did on that last drive. And this is Mariota, who's going to go out of bounds after a pickup of about 3, and we check in with Holly.
Bad news for Texas. Their big physical safety, Adrian Phillips, who has 75 tackles on the season, has been taken to the locker room. They're evaluating his left hip. So in the game now, you guys see number 5, Josh Turner. He has experience. He's played in 10 games, has 34 tackles, but they'll miss the physicality.
They sure will. And the leadership. Phillips is one of their captains. Jenkins makes a nice stop on Marshall.
You know, it's funny because Jenkins had Mariota behind the line of scrimmage on first down and couldn't finish the tackle. That time on second down, he wrapped up and got the ball carried to the ground. So back-to-back plays. Nice job by Peter Jenkins.
Tyner comes back into the Oregon backfield. 3rd down and 5. And you can hear the crowd in burnt orange coming to life here at the Alamo Dome.
Texas moving Jeffcoat around in a stand-up position.
Blitz coming. Easy throw and catch to Tyner, the freshman. And he's run out of bounds on the Texas sideline with a 1st down. So on 3rd and 5, he got 10. Little talking going on by both sides right now.
Nice read by Mariota, seeing the back escape. Kind of a hot route, anticipating a blitz. There was no blitz, but the back was wide open anyway, and a good decision.
Mariota on 1st down, going to run with it again. Boy, he's got great wheels. And I don't mean just for a quarterback, for anybody. And now limping off is going to be Duke Thomas, who is in on the tackle, and there goes another guy down in the Texas secondary. He's their corner when they go to their nickel defense.
They're not even sure who to get on the field. Texas may have to call a timeout.
Well, they got lucky. The quarter came to a close. And Dwayne Aquina and Mac Brown trying to figure it out over there. End of 1. Valero Alamo Bowl. It was a 10-0 Oregon lead, but the Longhorns fight their way back. And it's 10-7 at the end of 1. Welcome back to the Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. Set to start the 2nd quarter. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe, and our ESPN crew. Hope you had a good holiday and a good new year upcoming. Good 1st quarter.
Yeah.
Oregon jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Texas with a long scoring drive answered. And now it's Oregon back in Longhorn territory with a 1st down at the 41-yard line.
We talked about the health of Mariota. 7 carries, 76 yards.
This time they go to their tailback Tyner. And he picks up about 3. And Adrian Phillips came back into the secondary for Texas. So right now it's Michael Thompson, Josh Turner, Adrian Phillips, Quandre Diggs, Duke Thomas. Holly told us during the breaks, getting that left ankle retaped, and hopefully can come back into the secondary for the Longhorns.
The reason that him being a runner, Mariota, is so important to this offense is that makes the defense account for him and add extra people at the line of scrimmage setting up play action pass.
There's the play action right down the middle to the tight end. And Bayless got it down to the 11-yard line. And lost a wheel, but a pickup of 27.
See, here's Bayless. Look at all these guys right around the line of scrimmage. You got to account for the quarterback run. Little play fake. He slips behind the linebackers, and that's an easy throw for Marcus Mariota. And I think more than anything, that play is set up by the fact that Mariota has run for almost 100 yards here early in the ball game.
That's a career-long catch. 27 yards for Bayless down to the 11-yard line. It's not 1st and goal. It's just outside the 10. 1st and 10 at the 11. And that's an empty backfield. Mariota's going to throw, and low and incomplete, intended for Braylon Addison.
Nice job by Adrian Phillips that time, just holding the edge. He came on a blitz, and he didn't get faked out by Mariota, and he forced Mariota to throw instead of escaping out of the pocket.
2nd down at the 11. Mariota again, play action. In trouble from behind. He doesn't know it, and the ball is out. And it's going to go out of bounds before anybody can get it. Jackson Jeffcoat finally got some heat on the Oregon quarterback. And we got a duck down as well, and that's Tyler Johnstone, the left tackle.
The ruling on the field is that the ball was not recovered in bounds. It is Oregon's ball.
What Texas is doing with Jackson Jeffcoat is similar to what they did in the Texas Tech game. Instead of lining him up on the end of the line every play, they're moving him around in different spots. This time he works on the guard instead of the tackle and easily beats Stevens to get to the quarterback. He was the defensive player of the year in the Big 12, 12 sacks coming into the game.
Won the Ted Hendricks Award as best defensive end in the country, and that's the second fumble he's caused this year. And it could have been a beautiful gift, but they just couldn't find a handle before the ball got out of bounds.
Tell you who made a nice play there. Jake Fisher, the right tackle, number 75. Because Ced Reed, the other defensive end, is zeroing in on this football, and Jake Reed pushed him out of bounds before he could recover it, and that enabled Oregon to maintain possession.
The bad news is the left tackle, Tyler Johnstone, is the guy that's down for Oregon. Sophomore out of Chandler, Arizona, and he was clutching his right knee, and they've already taken the brace off that knee, or at least loosened it. And we're going to check on Tyler when we come back. 13:31 remaining first half. So again, Tyler Johnstone helped off the field by his teammates. They're working on his right knee. And with that, Everett Benyard III is going to come in to play tackle. There's the big guy, number 71, 6'7", 308-pound senior out of San Diego.
That's a big loss for Oregon, because Scott Frost told us Tyler Johnstone had been their most consistent offensive lineman all season. Playing that left tackle, has blocked against some of the best pass rushers in the Pac-12. And he was matched up with Jeffcoat.
The ball was fumbled from the 17-yard line forward. It went out of bounds forward to the spot of the fumble. By rule, the ball is returned to the spot of the fumble, the 17-yard line.
So that's going to back it up about 3 more yards, and it's going to bring up third down and about 16, I think, upcoming. And this would be a huge play for the Texas defense if they could force just a field goal here. Trailing by 3 with 13:31 remaining in the half.
If you rush the quarterback, if this is a pass, you have to rush with a little bit of discipline and a little bit of control, because Marcus Mariota has been very effective running the football out of this formation on third down.
He's got Byron Marshall with him in the backfield. Third down and 16. Play action. Mariota going to flare it out there to Marshall. He's got Longhorns in front, and he's not going to get anywhere near the first down. Only got about 3 yards. Adrian Phillips got over there to help out on the stop. And a good job by Greg Robinson's defense to hold serve there and force a field goal.
Timely negative plays by the Texas defense. You know, they haven't had 3 and outs, but they've had some timely negative plays, particularly in the red zone.
Matt Wogan hit earlier from 25 yards. He's 5 out of 6 on the season. This will be a 32-yard attempt by the true freshman out of Indian Trail, North Carolina. And this one just inside the right upright. So 2 field goals by the freshman. And he gives Oregon now a 6-point lead. But it could have been worse. Jackson Jeffcoat, his defensive play on Marcus Mariota right there, forcing the fumble. Created a 3rd and long that became 4th and long.
The 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl is brought to you by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Mas. BNY Mellon, invested in the world. And Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Riverwalk isn't any prettier than during the holiday season, unless the Spurs are winning the NBA title. Then it's lit up just about like that. 13-7. Oregon in front after a 32-yard field goal, capped a 60-yard drive in 10 plays. And the guy that hit the field goal, Matt Wogan, set to kick off to Marcus Johnson and Kendall Sanders. And this will be returnable from the goal line by Kendall Sanders. And Sanders has got a little bit of room, and he's out to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. We go from Kendall Sanders to John Saunders. John.
And that's all about you. This instant replay brought to you by the new Surface. Ole Miss against Georgia Tech. Corey Dennis gives it up, and Sedarius Bryant with the tackle. Oh, Ray Bino falls on the ball. It is a safety. And as Georgia Tech was marching for what could have been a go-ahead touchdown, they fall down 25-17, and that's what they lose by. Brad and Todd.
All right, John, thanks. Texas now going to work from the 36-yard line, and it's Malcolm Brown who picked up about 2 as we check in with Holland.
Oregon left tackle Tyler Johnstone was evaluated on the sideline for that right knee. Now, they don't give out injury updates, but from what I observed, they told him what the diagnosis seems to be for now. He put his hands over his face. His shoulders started shaking. He looks to be very upset. The players came over and consoled him, including Josh Huff and Marcus Mariota. He's getting fitted for crutches, guys. Does not appear that he can return.
Boy, that's terrible. Texas here again stuffed on the run. Taylor Hart made first contact on Malcolm Brown, and it's a loss of a yard. That's going to bring up a 3rd down and long, something Texas didn't get into on their scoring drive.
Back-to-back nice plays by the front of the Oregon defense. They got pushed around a little bit the last couple possessions. That time they withstood the challenge on the first 2 downs for 1-yard gain. And now they put Texas in a situation they want, playing to the strength, which is their rush and the back end of their defense.
4 wide receivers for Case McCoy. McCoy down the middle. It should have been caught by Shipley, but he couldn't hold it. Brian Jackson put a hit on him, and the ball came out.
Talked about this secondary of Oregon. They have played a lot of ball together. A couple of these guys have been playing since their freshman year. They have great communication. They work well together. Brian Jackson, a safety out of Hoover, Alabama, with a perfectly timed hit as the ball got to Shipley.
So that'll force a punt by Anthony Farah. This one's going to take a Texas bounce. Wasn't the greatest punt in the world, but it made it all the way to the 11-yard line. So it ends up being a good one. 10:58 remaining first half. Oregon leads by 6. Back at the Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. 13-7. Oregon out in front. Brad Nessler, Ty Blackledge, Holly Rowe along with you. Partner, I got to give Greg Robinson's defense some credit. Yeah. One of the highest powered offenses in the country has been down in the red zone twice and came away with only 2 field goals.
They got some negative plays when it mattered the most. I would expect Oregon in this possession, they got to find a way to get the ball in the hands of DeAnthony Thomas. He's only touched it once on a kickoff return. Josh Huff also. Those are a couple of their big playmakers that have been a little bit quiet here the last few possessions.
They do start in a little bit of a hole here at the 6-yard line. And DeAnthony Thomas, who Todd just mentioned, is in the backfield with Marcus Mariota from the 11. He gets the call. There's a flag down, and he's going down, courtesy of Jackson Jeffcoat for no gain. Again, Dennis Hennigan, our referee.
Ball start, 71 offense, 1-yard penalty, first down.
That's Everett Bernard III, the guy that's in for Tyler Johnstone, and he gets the false start penalty.
And Jackson Jeffcoat that time, instead of being in a stand-up position, was lined up with his hand on the ground right over the new guy. And I would expect Greg Robinson to keep Jeffcoat there and to see what this backup offensive tackle has.
So first down at 15, back at the 6, and this is Mariota on a run all the way, and they're going to drop him at the line of scrimmage. Carrington Bynum with a tackle.
Well, you just can't overstate or overemphasize the impact Greg Robinson has had on this defense. After 3 ball games and a 1-2 start, their numbers were dismal. And they have steadily gotten better, particularly in stopping the run as this season has gone on.
Yeah, it went from about 6.5 yards to carry to about 3.5. This is a run all the way again. But Mariota, the secondary, and his helmet comes off again, but he's got a first down. So that's the second time he's lost his lid, and he'll have to come out.
Well, he's 6'4", 215 pounds with great speed. And you can see how hard he is to tackle. There are Longhorns around him, but unable to get him on the ground.
Better strap that thing on a little bit tighter. That's his 5th run ledge of 10 yards or more already in the first half.
Now his best game rushing, 122 yards against Virginia. That was only on 4 carries.
Lockie will give it off to DeAnthony Thomas. He only got a couple before the Longhorns can stop him. Desmond Jackson was the first guy there, and here comes Marcus back out. Helmet on.
The most carries he had in a game was 13 against Washington. He may break both of those marks before this game's over tonight.
Yep. The good part is we told you he was healthy, and he's showing that with his running ability tonight.
The scary part is the coaches said they don't think he's 100%.
Right. I was just thinking that.
Looks pretty good at 95.
Second down and 8. Here's DeAnthony Thomas spinning his way close to a first down. It'll be about a yard shy. We got a late flag. Going to have a personal foul after the play is over, I think. Just straightening it out and make sure who the guilty party is.
Cameron Hunt is the freshman.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 77. 15-yard penalty, third down.
Mark Helfrich coaching him up on the sideline. But here you're going to look after the play was over. And you just can't do that.
Especially with a guy in striped shirts right next to you. Now they have two backups in on that offensive line.
Manor Gregg has come in now, a senior. And it's third down and 17.
And Jeffcoat again in the stand-up position. Here's Jeffcoat, the defensive end, their best pass rusher, trying to give him a different look.
Mariota's going to float it out too far in front of Josh Huff. And Texas defense holds and is going to force a punt.
The negative plays, whether it be by a defensive play or a penalty against Oregon, has been the saving grace for this Texas defense. They have capitalized on the negative plays and forced another punt.
Alejandro Maldonado will punt this one away. Jackson Shipley is back deep.
Texas should get outstanding field position.
And kind of a tallywagger here that Shipley fields cleanly on a fair catch around the 48-yard line. Only a 34-yard punt though. So Case McCoy, who's made one mistake tonight but also scored a touchdown, will have great field position for the Texas offense when we come back. (13-7). Oregon out in front. Most of the 70 yards rushing tonight is courtesy of that guy for the Longhorns, Todd.
Well, he's a 225-pound back, and they're just using their strength. Combination of runs. This is a power run. Kick out by the tight end. They pull the guard around. Big opening outside for Malcolm Brown. They've run inside zone, and they've also run outside zone. This is a two tight end formation. It's just the outside zone stretch play. And watch these Texas tight ends and linemen just stick on their blocks. And Malcolm Brown doing a good job running behind this physical offensive line.
He's getting a breather right now. Joe Bergeron is in there. Makes you wonder if they're going to take a shot with Case McCoy after the good field position on the short punt at the 48-yard line. The throw is tipped but caught by the tight end, Jeff Swaim, I should say. Pick up of a couple.
I hear what you're saying about taking the shot, but again, you got to stay ahead of the chains. And so if you throw on first down, you better make sure you complete it. Now, they only gained 2 yards, but that's better than 2nd and 10.
They just shaded on the 50 on the Oregon side with a 2nd down and 8.
The guy Texas needs to get involved if he's healthy enough is Mike Davis. He's out there. He's a big play receiver, number 1. They got to get his hands on the football.
Bergeron runs into Hart first and still powered for about 3 yards.
Taylor Hart is just one of those big physical guys. 6'6", 287 pounds. Coming into the game, 64 tackles from his defensive tackle position. That's a lot of tackles for an inside interior defensive lineman.
Second team all Pac-12 performer. 3rd down and 6. The tight end shifts to the right side. And McCoy's going to go that way to him, but he dropped the ball.
Now that's a good read, a good decision, and a good throw by Case McCoy. And Swaim, who's done a beautiful job blocking, just started to look upfield, I think, before he secured the catch.
That's 2 drop passes by the Longhorns on 3rd down.
Good decision here to punt the football. Your defense is playing well. You're creating some negative plays. Try to pin them back deep again with this punt.
You saw Swaim say to Case McCoy, my fault, over there on the sideline. Now Farrah to punt. Fair catch taken just inside the 15-yard line. Let's take a look at our matchup. Capital One Bowl on January 1st, Wisconsin and South Carolina. First meeting between these two from the Big Ten and the SEC. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. Wisconsin, very physical, can really run the football. They'll challenge that South Carolina defense.
Gordon and White just picking up in the footsteps of all those other great tailbacks for the Badgers.
I'll tell you, the fun guy to watch in that game, though, too, is the quarterback for South Carolina, Connor Shaw, one of the most underrated players in all of college football.
There's so many great quarterbacks in the SEC this year, and he always seemed to get overlooked, but he was always one of our favorites. First down at the 15. And Byron Marshall only got about a half yard. Malcolm Brown, the other Malcolm Brown. They got one on offense, one on defense.
He's played well this year, too. It's a big physical. They got a couple 300-pounders there on the inside. You know, this team, when they played Baylor in that last game, they held Baylor under 60 yards rushing in the first half. They really controlled the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 9. Blitz off the corner, and Mariota's going to run the other way, and he's going to get another first down. So again, that's his 6th run of 10 yards or more.
And a beautiful read, because Texas was blitzing from the opposite side, and I think Mariota saw that, pulled the ball and kept it, and ran away from the blitz for a big gain.
He's been the biggest part of their offense tonight as a runner. Otherwise, Texas has held the high-powered Ducks, who average 47 points a game, pretty much in check. Remember, the touchdown they got was on an interception return for a score. Mariota going to loft it for DeAnthony Thomas on the sideline, and just a little bit off his fingertips.
Well, they had what they wanted. DeAnthony Thomas coming out of the backfield, working on the linebacker Santos. That's a mismatch. And the ball just a little bit overthrown by Mariota.
Tell you what, Santos hung in there pretty good.
He did. Took a good angle to the receiver.
And again, you see Thomas in there with Mariota. That's a dangerous duo. Second down and 10 from the 26. Here's a long one down the middle, complete, and it's Josh Huff. Pickup of 24 on a first down, Oregon.
Well, Josh Huff again has been a little bit quiet. Nice job running right down the seam, zone defense for Texas, and Mariota does a nice job picking him out in between defenders.
First down right at the 50. Back to the ground game, and a whistle before the play.
Ball start, offense number 1, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Getting back to Josh Huff for a minute. He had a career game in the Civil War, including the touchdown to win it with 29 seconds left. He caught 9 balls for 186 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's his numbers on the season. Also, he's a Texas native, and he's made it very clear that the Longhorns didn't offer him a scholarship. That's why he wants to really shine tonight against the Burnt Orange.
A little dispute in what actually was said or not said in that recruiting process.
And again, the Longhorns have got it all bottled up. Marshall goes down, and that's Shiro Davis with a big play.
Again, the timely negative plays. So far in this game, that's the 4th negative rushing play and the 5th penalty on Oregon's offense. And when they have stayed on course, Texas has had a difficult time stopping them, but the negative plays have been huge so far in the first half.
Second down and 19. They've got to get all the way to the Texas 40 for a first down. Mariota, wide receiver screen. That was bobbled, but caught a second time, and now planted is Braylon Addison. Boy,
I think the ball, well, it didn't come out.
It came out for a second, and he caught it again.
You want a defense to run to the football. The way you tackle fast players in space, you don't depend on one guy. You get guys running to the football. Watch all these orange shirts running to the football and securing the tackle.
He might have caught it 3 times, Todd. He did hold on, though, but it's third down and 18. 3 wideouts to the top of the screen. And it's going to be DeAnthony Thomas. They play it sort of safe here. And the Longhorns swarm under him and around him at the 47-yard line. And there's a psyched defensive coordinator.
I think part of the decision to run the ball there by Oregon was hey, we've got a backup left tackle in. Jackson Jeffcoat is giving him some problems. Let's not put him in a difficult situation on 3rd down and long. Let's punt the ball, play a little field position, and see if our defense can make a play.
Greg Robinson's been around a long time as an assistant and a head coach. I don't know that I've ever seen him that excited. Maldonado, you look behind him as he punts.
No return man. Oh, I don't understand that.
Going to be caught inside the 10 by Dior Mathis. So a 44-yard kick and nobody back to shag that one down for the Longhorns. Capital One Bowl Week continues Tuesday with a triple-header on ESPN. 12:30 Arizona takes on Boston College in the Advocare V100 Bowl. At 4 o'clock, Rice and Mississippi State get together. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl. 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Duke and Texas A&M get together in the Chick-fil-A Bowl in Atlanta. Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow. All the games on ESPN and also live on Watch ESPN. Could be the final time you get a chance to see Johnny Manziel play for Texas A&M. So Texas in a hole here. But again, their defense held, and they're right in the ball game, trailing by 6 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the half.
I think Texas wanted a timeout.
We'll take it with them. 3:50 left, second quarter.
For over 100 years, our alumni have been earning awards like the Nobel Prize, the Pulitzer, Olympic medals, and the Heisman Trophy. But there's no sense limiting yourself just yet. The University of Texas. What starts here changes the world.
Back in October, Texas was a 2-touchdown underdog to their rival Oklahoma. They came away with a 36-20 win, and the formula was very similar to the plan they had coming into this game. It starts with running the football. They possessed the football by converting 3rd downs. Case McCoy was efficient throwing it. He had the 1 interception, but he made some big throws. And defensively, they controlled the line of scrimmage. They got after the quarterback. Right now, they're kind of on that script. Even though they're behind in this ball game, they're playing it the way they need to.
From their 8-yard line, it'll be Malcolm Brown. And Brown's got a crease. Malcolm Brown into the secondary. Brown across the 40, all the way out to the 48-yard line.
Boy, beautiful job by the right side. The right tackle, Trey Hopkins, the right guard, Mason Walters, both get around and seal their blocks. One missed tackle, Jeff Swain, who's having a beautiful first half blocking from his tight end position. Big, strong run on 1st down.
Malcolm Brown, a career-long 40-yard gallop, and he's over 100 yards here in the first half. 1st down at the 48. Again, Swain, the tight end, switches to the right side. McCoy pump fakes one way, comes back, and his tight end dropped another. Well, he's having a great blocking game.
Yeah.
I can't say much for his pass catching so far.
And in both cases, he took his eye off the football. He's looking to go upfield before securing the catch. Watch his head turn before he secures the catch. He starts to turn to find the defender. First things first, catch the football.
Case McCoy has 6 incompletions, but 3 of those have been dropped. So his receivers aren't exactly doing him any favors. And this one is whipped out complete to Kendall Sanders. Only got about 3 out of the deal, but they are in Oregon territory.
And it brings up a more manageable 3rd down situation. Mike Davis, their leading receiver, with a hip injury. Kendall Sanders has a stress fracture that he's battling through. Neither one of those guys have practiced very much during this bowl preparation. Both healthy enough to go tonight, and they are definitely big play guys when they get their hands on the football.
You saw Raheem Castle, the middle linebacker, come out shaking up for Oregon. 3rd down and 7. McCoy rolling to throw, in trouble, fires late and incomplete. Intended for Bergeron on the sideline. That's going to bring up 4th down.
Seeing a little field position game. You know,
yeah.
Oregon's not used to playing this kind of a game. But the last month of the season, their offensive numbers went down for various reasons. We talked about the health of Marcus Mariota. Now, he looks great tonight. They're down an offensive lineman as we take a look at their left tackle, Tyler Johnstone, heading to the locker room.
They did switch the field, though, with that long run by Brown. And so Farah now can kick it to the far side and force a fair catch back around the 11 by Braylon Addison. With 2:08 remaining in the first half, let's head to the studio and check in with John Saunders. John?
Brett, thanks a lot. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, I'll be joined by Mark May and Lou Holtz. Plenty of highlights, including Ole Miss. Interesting game against Georgia Tech. Navy was able to run the ball against Middle Tennessee State. That one is coming up. Plus, we'll look ahead to Arizona State against Texas Tech. That's coming up tonight when we're done with your game. That's coming up at halftime. Right now, Brad, back to you.
All right, John, we'll see you in about 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
You know, last year we had this Oregon team in the Fiesta Bowl against Kansas State, and Kansas State was kind of playing right with them in the first half, and in the last 2 minutes they gave up a long touchdown drive that Marcus Mariota kind of came alive on, and it really put the game a little bit out of reach. Texas, as well as they played, needs to get a stop on this possession.
Mariota's been the big play guy. Here he goes again. Mariota down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds in front of the Texas bench, but he's got another huge gain out to the 45-yard line.
They have had trouble stopping running quarterbacks all season, and I think this one might be the best, at least the fastest that they've faced all year.
132 yards in the first half on 12 carries. 10 yards plus a pop for number 8. Here he is, play action down the middle, wide open to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas down to the 36-yard line.
And just like that, again, they've played, Texas's defense has played solid. They've got negative plays, but in 2 plays, Oregon has completely flipped the field and is in scoring territory.
Again, play action. Hit from behind, but throwing, that one's incomplete. Hit the dirt, Josh, off the intended receiver. And we've got a Longhorn player down.
That's Jeffcoat.
Oh, boy.
Jeffcoat was in pursuit.
And one of the Oregon players was trying to help him up, and he said, hold on a second. He is up on his own.
Boy, he's a relentless pass rusher. Has had a great season. You know, he missed the final 7 games of the year last year with a torn pectoral muscle. Came back strong from that injury and really has been on fire here the last 7 or 8 games.
You know, a lot of times we talk about time of possession. You don't think that's a big deal. And with Oregon, it isn't. They're second to last in the country in time of possession because they score like this every couple minutes. They only have 2 drives of close to 5 minutes. They both came in the UCLA game. They're on the move right here with 1:39 left in the half. And coming wide is Thomas Tyner. And collared almost, but he got extra yardage, and he's close to another first down.
Scott Frost told us the last 2 or 3 games, this guy Thomas Tyner has become a real guy for them. He's a more physical runner, 200 pounds. You know,
3rd down and a yard. They go in a hurry, and it's Tyner who's got the first as he spins his way inside the 25.
You know, that was their 6th 3rd down situation. Prior to that 3rd and 1, they had 3rd and 5, 3rd and 13, 3rd and 17 twice, and 3rd and 24. It's a whole lot easier to call plays at 3rd and 1.
Scott Frost is calling him. Here's a slip screen complete to Addison. Addison, who did he get planted at about the 17-yard line by Leroy Scott.
Oregon's in fine shape. They got 2 timeouts. Looks like they're going to use one of them right here.
Oregon, that is our 2nd timeout of the half.
They got 1 remaining and 53 seconds until halftime. Marcus Mariota has been the star, and it's been with his legs. Nothing wrong with that knee tonight, I don't think.
No, he has looked outstanding. Good decisions, running north and south, protecting the football when he runs. Some of it has been by design, some of it has been improvisation. But he has been very difficult for the Texas defense. This time he read the blitz coming from the backside. Instead of giving it to the back for a loss of yardage play, kept it, ran the other way. for a 10-yard gain, and he has been the most effective weapon running the football for Oregon, no doubt.
Let's check in with Holly.
So Marcus Mariota has had to wear a big, thick, black structural brace on that left knee with that partial MCL tear. But tonight, he's just wearing a small sleeve. It's under the tights of his uniform. It's not very big and bulky, so he's got some more freedom of movement, as we're seeing from his running. But guys, it's no small miracle. Torn MCL, even a slight one, is very difficult to return from, and he's doing a great job tonight.
Yeah, he's a whole different cat, or in this case, duck, when he's healthy.
I'll tell you the other thing is, when he was hurt and playing, he never missed a snap and never made an excuse. That's pretty impressive by this kid as well.
On the way, Jackson Jeffcoat's back out there for the Longhorns. Mariota shovel pass inside. First down, Moore. Heading to the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Huff.
Well, Peter Jenkins, number 19, reads the play and is in position. He gets off the block, and he's right there, unblocked. Can't make the tackle on Huff.
And Huff, as all good Ducks do, goes airborne.
Huff is a physical receiver. He's over 200 pounds, has a very strong lower body, and he ran right through that tackle of Peter Jenkins.
What a huge scoring drive. In 7 plays, 88 yards, and a touchdown, and that's 20-7.
So similar to what we saw in the Fiesta Bowl last year. A score right before half, and Oregon gets the ball to start the third quarter when we come back after halftime.
There's the numbers for Josh Huff, the Texas native. One of our impact players, and he just made an impact there. Capital One Bowl Week continues later on tonight. The Sun Devils and the Red Raiders square off in the National University Holiday Bowl. All part of Capital One Bowl Week. Number 14, Arizona State, Texas Tech. And their bowl histories. 4th time in the Holiday Bowl for Arizona State. 2nd time for Texas Tech. And always a great scene in San Diego. Done a lot of those, a lot of fun, and usually really high-powered, high-scoring games. This one, the score just changed completely on an 88-yard drive in 1 minute and 24 seconds. And now Texas doesn't have a lot of time to work unless they get a good kick return. And they're not going to get a kick return. Over the shoulder catch by Marcus Johnson. He'll take a knee, so they'll come out to the 25. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. And now they trail by 13. Another look at the touchdown.
Well, it started with a couple of runs by Marcus Mariota, and then a beautifully executed shovel pass. Extend the defense, get Jeffcoat out of the way, and then a one broken tackle. Josh Huff, again, a powerful wide receiver. Scott Frost told us he plays with a little chip on his shoulder. That chip may be a little bigger tonight, being a Texas native.
That's our Buick drive recap, and it was a heck of a drive in a hurry. And now Malcolm Brown, who's been most of the offense for Texas tonight, takes it off the right side. And that's going to bring it down to 35 seconds. And the rushing tonight. And now the throwing of Marcus Mariota. 130 yards and a touchdown on that last shovel pass that covered 16 yards.
You know, it's interesting. This guy, through the first 8 games, was as good as anybody in college football. A front runner for the Heisman Trophy. He gets hurt. They lose a couple games in November. And not only does he kind of fall out of the top leaders for the Heisman, he's not even in the top 10. And his coaches, I think, took that personally. And, you know, Marcus is such a humble guy, maybe one of the most humble guys I've ever met. He's never going to say anything, but deep down, I'm sure there's a little bit of a something that he wanted to prove in the ball game tonight. Of course, he made the decision to come back next year and have a big year as well.
He had a big first half, both with his arm and his legs, and he's given his team a 20-7 lead at halftime. As the Ducks looking for their 11th win of the season, they're halfway there. And the Longhorns defense played exceptionally well until that last drive that covered a long part of the field in 1 minute and 24 seconds. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, Coach, you said you wanted to run the football, and you have. What's enabled you to be so effective doing that in the first half?
Well, Holly, we're good at running the ball, and that's something we've got to continue to do. Very disappointing with a 13-7 deficit there. We had the ball at the 50 twice. We had 3 and outs. We dropped some passes. We've got to play better. Our guys are playing hard. Oregon's really good. They're as good as publicized coming in. Quarterback's as good as anybody in the country. If he's healthy, he'd be in that Heisman mix. But we've got to play better on offense and make more plays.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
As Mac has done for 29 years, telling it like it is at halftime. And his team trails by a score of 20-7 as we send it back to John, Lou, and Mayday back in the studio.
A battle between the Pac-12 and the Big 12. It's the Oregon Ducks and the Longhorns of Texas.
McCoy down the middle, and it's intercepted, and it's Patterson coming the other way. Avery Patterson, and he's in. Touchdown. And it's straight ahead for McCoy. Touchdown, Texas. And you know he feels good about scoring after throwing an interception earlier. Mariota shovel pass inside. First down, Moore. Heading to the end zone. Touchdown, Josh Huff. And we welcome you back to the 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. And moments ago, with the Texas marching band on the field, spelling out Mack Brown, the head coach in his 16th season and in his final game tonight, as it all came together to a standing ovation by everybody in the Alamo Dome. And in his 206th game on the sideline for Texas, he'd love to win one more. But as Hank Stram used to say, sometimes you take the Concorde, sometimes you take the skateboard. And right now, as you look over my shoulder, Oregon's taking the Concorde. They've got 14 plays of 10 yards or more. Texas only has 3.
Yeah, and it's just one of those crazy things. When you play a team as explosive as Oregon and as highly ranked as they are, you have to take advantage of every situation. They gave him a gift touchdown with the interception.
Right.
Then their defense played well. They had field position. They didn't capitalize with points. They had drop passes. And now the most important possession in the football game for Texas is their defense right now, because if Oregon scores again here on this possession, I don't think they can catch up.
The Ducks will get the football as Nick Rose kicks high and short. And I mean short, down to the 23-yard line. And it goes to Keenan Lowe, and Lowe is out at about the 33-yard line as we check in with Holly.
Well, Marcus Mariota has 132 yards rushing in the first half. I asked Oregon coach Mark Helfrich, do you need to get other guys involved? Nobody else has more than 15. He said, no, we're taking what the defense is giving us. He said, if they try to stop Marcus, we'll just go to somebody else. He said, having Marcus healthy and mobile makes us a whole lot better.
Boy, has it ever in that first half. He was sensational.
It really makes him a completely different team, because when he is healthy and can run, and that's a viable threat, you have to account for him with an extra defender and a half, and it just makes him that much more difficult. It sets up their play action pass. It makes them that much more dangerous.
On the ground, Byron Marshall, who's been held pretty much in check tonight, picks up about 4. Adrian Phillips in on the stop. When you think about the balance of what Mariota has done tonight, as Holly said, 132 on the ground, 130 in the air, and he's going to the air, and a slant down the middle. And a first down at the Texas 43. Josh Huff again. 20 more yards for the Ducks.
It's just a simple look route. I mean, he's not running any timing route. He's just running into an open area, and the play action freezes the linebacker.
And now Mariota on the run. This time he'll slide down as he got to the 36-yard line. Bynum was there to make sure he didn't go any further, but they've already moved it to the Texas 36. Opening 50 seconds of the quarter. Mariota down the middle and complete again inside the 25. That one's to Braylon Addison. So they're mixing it up here in the opening minute of the third quarter.
Well, we talked about Josh Huff being a Texas native. So is Addison out of Missouri City, Texas. Both these wide receivers with a lot of incentive in this ball game.
Mariota floats one, and incomplete, intended for Bayless, who he hit for 27 yards earlier in the ball game. Leroy Scott was back there covering.
Marcus did something a little funny at the end of that throw, like he was stretching something in his leg or adjusting something, and he's walking kind of with some stiffness in that left knee right now.
Yep.
Might be something to keep an eye on. Well, there's something wrong with him. He does not look right.
Kind of walked stiff-legged up to his center. And now in the shotgun. About a yard gain on the play. And Now it's going to be interesting to see if he runs again.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have to. And you're right. And Holly said he's wearing a sleeve under those tights. And you saw him adjusting his thigh pad a little bit. He's playing with that left knee. It's not what it was in the first half. It doesn't look like. 3rd down and 9, and that might change the game dramatically. He'll throw on 3rd down, and it's incomplete and almost intercepted by Bynum. Josh Huff, the intended receiver. Actually, it was Keenan Lowe, the intended receiver, but incomplete.
Again, with a left knee injury, not only does it affect your ability to run, it affects your ability to transfer your weight from your back foot to your front foot and drive through the football. And that was the first throw that Marcus has made that was not on the mark, really.
The longest field goal that Wogan's hit this year is 38 yards. This is a 39-yard attempt. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And he's perfect. Doing a good job. True freshman's got 9 points in the ball game on field goals. Stretches the lead 23-7 Oregon. Celebrating its 9th year sponsoring Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. Since 2005, Allstate's contributed more than $3.4 million in scholarship funds. There was a scene during the timeout. Marcus Mariota over there with the trainers and also rolling that back knee himself.
Yeah. Which I'm no doctor for sure, but the fact that they're not checking the stability of his knee and doing that suggests it's some kind of a muscle thing, or rather than the reoccurrence of the MCL thing.
So Wogan, who just hit the field goal to kick. This one should be coming back for Texas. Marcus Johnson from the 1. And Marcus Johnson across the 25 before he's brought down. And let's check in with Holly.
Well, a lot of Texas fans are anxious to know who will be the new head coach for the Longhorns. The athletic director, Steve Patterson, had a little impromptu press conference right before the game, and reports are that he said they're hoping to have somebody in place by January 15th. There's a committee in place. He said we're not actually having these people fill out applications. It's trying to be done kind of secretly, as you might guess. But they are working on it. No new news to report.
It's an 8-person advisory committee, and they've got an executive search firm called Korn and Ferry, which also was involved with actually the hiring of Steve Patterson, the athletic director. So the same group is getting together that hired him to try to find a coach. I'll say one thing. I hope 16 years from now they still have 158 wins for Texas, and they'll be sorry that Mac's on his way out. If they do better than that, all the power to them. 2nd down and 8. The tight end in motion. They've thrown to him when he's gone in motion, but he's dropped a couple. And this time he's going to be a blocker. They got it to Mike Davis, but only about a yard gain. Nice job by the Oregon defense. That's the first catch for number 1, and it only got him 1.
Now, partly because it was not an accurate throw. Case McCoy tried to get it to Davis quickly, but because it was not a clean throw, Davis wasn't able to catch that thing and hit upfield quickly.
So it's 3rd down and 7.
Shipley has been the go-to guy in 3rd down situations. Oregon very aware of that.
He's in the slot to the top of your screen. Davis in motion. McCoy going to go down. He throws it at the last second, and it's almost intercepted.
Well, that's a good job by the Oregon defense, but that's poor protection. That was a 3-man rush against 5 offensive linemen for Texas, and they can't protect the quarterback. McCoy tried to step up in the pocket, and a nice second effort by Tony Washington, their leading sacker, stayed with the play even though the quarterback stepped up inside of him and got the sack, or they forced incompletion.
The 4th 3 and out, and another punt, and wow, this is a beauty by Farrah. Way up in the rafters of the Alamo Dome. And Addison with a fair catch. 51-yard kick. 11:31 remaining. Marcus Mariota, will see how that knee is and the offense of the Ducks when we come back.
2013 Valero Alamo Bowl is brought to you by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn 1.5% cash back on every purchase. Dr. Pepper, always one of a kind. and your next truck. Ford F-150.
Back in San Antonio, great host city for the Valero Alamo Bowl. And the third highest ranked team ever to play in this event is the 10th ranked Ducks of Oregon. And they've got the lead 23-7. And they start again at their own 19-yard line. Inside run this time. Only a couple gained by Thomas Tyner, checking in with Holly.
Athletic trainer Kevin Stiles spent a long time rolling out the legs of Marcus Mariota. Not just his left leg that's been injured, but the right leg too. Looks like he may be cramping. It's been rushing an awful lot.
It was a long halftime. That might have had something to do with it, but flags are down here. Penalty. And we're going to have a false start.
False start. Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Braylon Addison a little too anxious. And Oregon, all their penalties have been on the offense, 6 of them. But they've got 16 plays of 10 yards or more tonight. So they can get it in big chunks. Second down and 12. And this time, Mariota got away again. Throws on the run, and he throws a strike to Addison. And it's a first down.
You know, and that right there shows you the difference in Marcus Mariota and some of the other quarterbacks that have been in this Oregon offense. We've seen the running ability, the escapability, but watch this throw, stepping up on a line to the sideline. He's the best thrower that they've had in this offense to go along with his running ability.
Throwing on the previous play was a completed catch. The play is under further review.
And again, he's clutching that left hamstring or something, Todd, and he's coming to the sideline again, and maybe it's a cramp because he's going to take in as much fluid as he can while they take this play under review.
Now, sometimes when you wear a sleeve like that, and sometimes it just hard to guess, but take a look at the play. Good footwork on the sideline.
Good camera work. I think the play's good all the way.
Yeah.
Helps a little bit when you wear green shoes. Especially green and white shoes. Looked like he got both toes down. Great catch. It's a matter of whether or not maybe that he had possession over there. So Dennis Hannigan's talking to Rosie Amato up here in the replay booth. And we get the call now.
After further review, the play stands as called.
So it's first down, Oregon. And it gave Marcus Mariota a little chance to get some more fluid in his body and stretch out a little bit more on the field. Again, Lockheed's had to take a couple of snaps tonight when Marcus has had his helmet come off. He's got the chin strap re-snapped, and it's first down, Oregon at the 33. And Tyner is going to empty the backfield. They're going to flip it out to Tyner, though. Avoided a shoestring tackle, and Tyner's got another first down. Almost a nice defensive play out there on the corner, but he got through that.
Yeah, Adrian Phillips, the safety, read this quickly. He stumbled a little bit going for the tackle. Usually a very sure tackler, but that little stumble made it difficult for him to make the tackle, and Tyner with a big gain.
This time, only a couple for Byron Marshall. But again, Oregon not slowing down at all, not huddling, getting back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down and about 8.
Well, the tempo has caught Texas a couple times. On the last completion to Huff, it was definitely the result of tempo.
Here's just a little underhand pitch to Marshall, and he's going to go down for a loss. Malcolm Brown, the defensive tackle, hung in there, dropped him for a loss of 5.
And I think Scott Frost and Mark Helfrich right now are kind of staying away from run situations for Marcus Mariota. They're trying to find other ways to run the football and not put it on their quarterback. But now another 3rd and long. We'll see what he does on this play.
3rd down and 13. 3 receivers to his left. Nobody to the right for Mariota. And now it's an empty backfield. So here comes the quick pass again. Caught, delivered kind of high. And Texas is going to run the receiver out of bounds after a short gain. So Byron Marshall comes up short, and the punting unit comes out. So no further damage done by the Ducks offense. And Alejandro Maldonado will kick away. Jackson Shipley back deep. Remember, Deshae Johnson, academically ineligible. He would have been the punt returner tonight. He's a more dangerous guy than Shipley. Shipley very sure-handed, however. And he comes up on a fair catch and takes it around the 23-yard line. So Texas back on offense, trailing 23-7 when we come back. Two of the nation's most physical teams collide in a granddaddy of them all. Big Ten champion Spartans eyeing their first Rose Bowl since '88. Stanford Cardinal seeking their second consecutive Rose Bowl title. The 100th Rose Bowl game. Number 5 Stanford, number 4 Michigan State. New Year's Day. Coverage starts at 4:30 Eastern on ESPN. Tyrone Swoops is in at quarterback for the Texas Longhorns.
Well, Texas has been held without a first down on 5 of 8 possessions, trying to find some new spark for this offense.
With that, they'll keep it on the ground of Malcolm Brown, who's been their only offense, and he got a couple more before he ran into Taylor Hart again.
Swoops is expected to compete for the quarterback job next spring, along with David Ash, who was the starter this year, had the concussion problems, and a very promising freshman coming in. Gerard Hurd led his high school team to back-to-back state championships.
Swoops is a true freshman out of White-Wright, Texas. And in the shotgun on 2nd down and 8. Quarterback draw all the way. And he drew a bunch of Duck defenders after a pickup of a couple more. It'll be 3rd down and at least 6 here for the youngster. In relief of Case McCoy.
When we talked to Nick Aliotti last night, he wasn't sure. He thought his defense would play well. He was concerned about tackling because of the layoff in a bowl game. But I think he's got to be very pleased with his unit.
And Nick, again, it's his last game, announcing his retirement. Had some interesting comments about what he would do in retirement. We'll talk about that as we go through the second half. Texas 3 out of 10 on their 3rd down conversions. And on 3rd and 6, Swoops scans the field and now dancing around, and all he can do is find a place to land. Lost a yard, and it's 4th down.
Well, as is the case with a lot of young quarterbacks, here's David Ash looking on. When you're a young quarterback and you start to think about moving in the pocket, a lot of times your eyes come off the coverage and you start looking at the guys in front of you. And that time Swoops really nowhere to go with the football.
So that experiment didn't work. That'll bring out Farah to kick. His last punt was a beauty, 51 yards. Addison might have a chance at this one. He'll take it at the 28, and he goes down at about the 25. Nice coverage by the punt coverage team for the Texas Longhorns. Hollick.
Well, Mac Brown actually gave us a nice update on David Ash, the quarterback. He has been out of all but about 2.5 games this year due to that head injury. But he said he's been told that he can go full course in spring, that he'll be ready to play, and that he was also told that that injury should not be one that reoccurs naturally just with one hit, that he shouldn't have to be too careful moving forward, that is something that they have cleared him from. So that's good news for Texas fans who are hoping to see him compete in the spring. There is also a possibility that he will apply for a redshirt year through the NCAA because of that injury that's kept him out most of the season.
They'll petition the NCAA to try to get another year back because he played very little this year.
Well, and again, as we mentioned, the slide for Texas after playing in that national championship game in '09, direct result of quarterback play.
Mariota on the run again. Whoops. I hope that knee didn't give out. He went down on his own, and he's testing it. It may not be a knee. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Left leg. We're going to put it that way.
Right.
But that time he had a lot of green in front of him, Todd, and he pulled up, or it pulled up for him.
And remember, the last couple possessions, they've strayed away from the play calls where he would run. That was a
scramble.
Yeah, that was a scramble. Yeah. And you can tell it's affecting him.
Illegal substitution, 12 players in formation, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Anthony Thomas, one too many guys out there. I think he was the one that was one too many. Mark Helfrich in his first year, 10-2. He's a first native Oregonian, I hope I said that right, to be the head coach at Oregon since John Warren in 1942. So dream job, and he's got some dream players, and one of them just got planted by Peter Jenkins. Pick up a 7 though for Marshall.
Well, they play fast and they have fast players. I mean, that's the trademark of Oregon, and so you can bottle them up, and then they explode on you for a big play.
And that time a power run by Marshall. He ran over Jenkins, and it's a first down Oregon.
You know, the difference in these two offenses very dramatic. For Oregon, 18 plays of 10 yards or more. For Texas, only 4. And it's hard to win football games against good teams if you don't have explosive plays. And Oregon, that's just part and parcel of how they play offense.
First down. Mariota on the sideline throws a strike close to a first down to Braylon Addison again. It'll be about a yard shy. Maybe not even a yard.
One of the things with this Texas team, they have had a series of injuries. We talked about David Ash. We talked about Jonathan Gray. They've lost their 2 best linebackers earlier in the season, Jordan Hicks and Steve Edmonds.
Lost Chris Whaley, the defensive tackle, who had a huge game against Oklahoma.
They have really suffered some injuries this year, and some of the effects of that really showing here right now.
Mariota on a seam route, complete. And that's Johnny Munt, the freshman tight end, who they think might end up being a star someday. Pick up a 20.
Nice job by Mariota, just staying in the pocket, stepping up a little bit, and then finding that seam route. Again, you run vertical routes against zone defense, and you just wait for a receiver to clear defenders. Munt had a big game, had to start a game earlier this year against Tennessee. Colt Laierla was their starting tight end. He was out of action that game. Munt had 5 catches.
121 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Yeah.
Mariota's hit his last 5 passes. The play was stopped because Michael Thompson, the starting safety for Texas, shaken up on the play. So first down at the 33 of the Longhorns. And Thomas Tyner, the freshman tailback, back in there with Mariota. And Mariota down again the other side. And Josh Huff, tough catch. And a good throw, 23-yard pickup.
Again, just kind of another seam route against zone. So as soon as he clears an opening, Huff looks back to the quarterback, knowing once I get in this soft spot, the ball could come at any point. Mariota right on target with it.
And that's 5 catches for Huff for 104 yards. So he's getting that little bit of revenge he wanted tonight in this Valero Alamo Bowl after not being recruited by the Longhorns in his native state. Tyner. Hanging with it was Timothy Cole, who brought him down after a pickup of 4.
And we should mention, too, that Everett Benyard has settled down here. You know, he had to come in when Tyler Johnstone got hurt to play left tackle. Had a false start penalty in his first possession, but he has settled into it pretty well and is playing nicely. As a senior, called on to anchor that left side right now.
The Ducks have 447 yards of offense, and that sets a new single-season school record. Mariota to the end zone. Almost intercepted by Carrington Bynum. And it looked like Marcus kind of slipped when he threw that one again, Todd. Or maybe the leg gave him a little trouble.
Yeah, I think he was a little hesitant to plant on that front foot and transfer the weight. Kind of gingerly tried to step into that throw, and that caused him to take a little bit off of it and not get it in there for the touchdown.
The third down and goal. And normally this would be a quarterback draw threat a lot, but we don't think he wants to run quite as much, or that the coaches don't want him to run quite so much. We're going to call timeout here with 2:43 remaining. And the Ducks not wanting to waste an opportunity with a 3rd and goal. So we'll get a chance to talk it over. And with that, we'll remind you, coming up when we're done, Capital One Bowl Week continues The Sun Devils square off against the Red Raiders in the National University Holiday Bowl, all part of Capital One Bowl week. Arizona State number 14 against Texas Tech tonight at 10:15 on ESPN. A little over an hour from now. So 3rd down and goal, and a chance for the head coach to talk things over with his entire offense.
I think Mark Helfrich has done an outstanding job this year. He was the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. It's his 5th year on the staff at Oregon. Had a history being at Arizona State, was at Boise State, was at Colorado, has coached quarterbacks for a long time, and I think he transitioned into that head coaching job really well. And one of the things that helped him was the continuity of the staff.
Yeah.
Nick Aliotti was going to retire last year, decided to stay on for Helfrich's first year. Even though Chip Kelly took one of the full-time assistants with him to Philadelphia, everybody else stayed in place, and that helped that transition a lot.
And of course, Chip's got his Eagles in the playoffs in the NFL. Mariota, whoa! I don't know if it's going to be a face mask or if he just got the top of his helmet, but he's dropped in the backfield.
There's no flag.
I don't see one.
Surprisingly, there's no flag.
And they're separating players down there. Again, there's the pump fake.
Wow, usually when you see a quarterback's head snap back like that.
Cedric Reed, I don't know, I guess maybe he just palmed his helmet like a basketball. I don't know. Everybody in the booth, including Phil Knight, thought it was a penalty, but it wasn't. And so it brings up another field goal opportunity for Matt Logan, who has hit 3 already. This will be a 32-yard attempt by the freshman.
He's almost attempted more in this game than the whole season.
And this one, no good. And that brings a roar from the Texas faithful. That one couldn't get much closer than it was. Oh, it hit the upright. I didn't even see it. I thought it went wide right.
Well, the Texas defense got a stop, aided by a no call on a penalty. And now the onus and the burden really is on the Texas offense. They've got to manufacture something here. They've got to figure out a way to get a couple chunk plays.
You know, Texas hanging in there, hanging around at 23-7 late in the 3rd quarter. But Oregon tied 4 red zone possessions. They've got 1 touchdown, 2 field goals, and a missed field goal. So it could be a lot worse. Swoops is going to air one out for the Horns. And they got it. No, in and out of the hands of Mike Davis. Would have been all the way to the 20-yard line.
See, that's the kind of play that needs to be made for Texas. Mike Davis got enough separation. Swopes put the ball out there. They need chunk plays, and you just can't beat a team as good as Oregon if you don't capitalize when you have those opportunities.
Terrence Mitchell was there with him, but Mike Davis most of the time makes that catch. So instead of a long gainer, the 4th drop pass by the Longhorns just makes it 2nd down and 10. Bergeron, he's going to go down for a loss. Raheem Castle, who was shaken up earlier in the ball game, made the stop from his linebacker spot. And again, Case McCoy on the sideline, which swoops in to take his spot. And Texas without a first down 6 of the 9 times they've had it. And they're facing a 3rd down and long here.
Now, the last time Oregon just rushed 3, they played coverage, they confused the young quarterback. Looks like the same kind of thing coming here.
And all 3 of them are standing up. That's even more confusing. Who's coming and who's not. Bergeron trying to spin away from the traffic. He got it across the 25, close to the 27, but well short of a first down. So the offense has been number 28 tonight for Texas, and that's about it. And he's not out there right now. Here comes the punting unit. 3rd straight 3 and out. Barrett a kick, and Braylon Addison is back deep. Has 2 punt returns for touchdowns this year. Both came in the Cal game. And he's got to call a late fair catch and lost the handle. I think they're going to have a penalty for interference trying to make the catch. He was a little late on the fair catch call, but they were too close to him. Don Harris was a guy down there.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the kick. Kicking team number 9. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Boy, going to give him great field possession again.
Well, the punt was dying a little bit, and that's why Harris didn't know where the football was and got too close to Addison.
And between his arms, between his legs, and he came up with it anyway. But a 15-yard walk-off is huge because it's going to put the football on the line of scrimmage in Texas territory.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a play-action deep throw right here by Oregon to try to seal the deal. 23-7. One of the last play or two of the third quarter. Great field position and opportunity to kind of seal this one.
All three receivers for Mariota to his left. He goes back the other way, and he got a little bit of pressure and threw it in the turf. Byron Marshall, the intended receiver. And we're down to 10 seconds remaining in the third.
But whatever is ailing Marcus Mariota right now, it may not be serious, but it's very uncomfortable. He doesn't look comfortable with his legs right now as he did earlier in the ball game.
Throwing or running.
Yep.
Here's Tyner. He's going to get dropped by Quandre Diggs to end the third quarter. No gain on that play. But Texas is going to have to gain a lot if they're to send Mack Brown out with a victory, because at the end of 3, it's a 10th ranked team in the country up on top of the Longhorns 23-7.
Visit WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app to watch ESPN live anytime, anywhere. Brought to you by Vizio.
We start the fourth quarter of the Valero Alamo Bowl with Oregon in front. And they've got a third down coming up. Third down and 10. Sixth time, actually, they've been third down and 10 or longer, and they haven't converted any of them so far. To open the fourth, they still don't. Anthony Thomas has to go to the ground to get that pass from Mariota. But only a 5-yard pickup.
Well, again, Mariota battling some cramps, I think, in both of his legs. Holly told us during the break. And he's just very ginger in how he's stepping into throws. I mean, if he throws that accurately, that's an easy conversion on third down.
He might still be running.
Yep.
Had he thrown it in front of him.
Well, he's real fast. He'd be done running by now.
Fourth down and 5. They were about 50% on their fourth down conversions this year. Mariota, and whistle blew before the play.
Ball start. Offense number 11. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Braylon Addison with a false start, the wide receiver.
Yeah, they're going to punt now. They've had a few of those tonight. You know, again, the layoff a little bit, maybe a factor.
All their penalties have been on their offense. 8 of them. He's had a big night, though. Addison and Huff. From Maldonado to punt. Jackson Shipley now runs up, expecting, I guess, a fake. He's just going to let it go again. This is the second time tonight they don't really have anybody back there. And they're going to down it at about the 2-yard line. Wow, you can't do it any better than that.
Well, Texas went for a block, so they brought extra rushers in. That's why they vacated the back end, but you got to get to the football if you're going to do that.
And they didn't, and they'll pay the price. They're going to be in a deep hole offensively when we return. (23-7), Oregon in front. Minute into the fourth quarter. Been some near misses tonight, Todd, for the Texas offense.
Well, when you play against a team like this, if you see single coverage and you want to take some shots, you have to take them, and you got to hit a few of them. This time, Tyrone Swoops makes a beautiful throw. It's a first down throw. He puts the ball out there. This was the last possession. Mike Davis, it's a ball that he needs to come down with. It ends up incomplete, and the net result is another 3 and out for the Texas offense. And now they're way backed up in field position.
All the offense has been Malcolm Brown from the 3-yard line. Case McCoy back in there, and Brown tripped up, lost yardage. Kaylee Keefe, the senior, made the stop.
Well done. Hart does a nice job taking on the double team, and that opens the gate for Kaylee Keefe to get in there and make the play close to the end zone.
So they lost a couple. Second down at 12, and this is a dangerous spot for number 6. Davis in motion toward the ball. McCoy looking that way and throws complete to Mike Davis. And he's going to be short of the first down, but at least they have a little bit of room to work. And the third down will be a little bit shorter. Texas has as many punts as they have points tonight. They don't want to punt here because they're running out of opportunities. They've got De La Torre, the fullback, back in there on this third down and short yardage with Malcolm Brown, the tailback. Again, they move the tight end, and they're going to run the other way, and he got it. Malcolm Brown out to the 15. So the drive continues for Texas. What little drive there is of it, but when you're backed up to your own 3-yard line, when you get outside the 15, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah. Well, the games that Oregon has lost over the last few years, it's been when teams have pushed them around a little bit and been a little bit stronger. That was the case with Stanford the last 2 years. Even though Texas has had the size advantage up front in this game, Oregon has really been up for the challenge.
Mitchell knocks Brown out of bounds. He did get a couple on the corner over there when it looked like maybe he would lose yardage. We actually gave him 3. Second down and 7. Shipley, Sanders, and Davis all in there as wide receivers. But there have been very few big pass plays tonight at all for the Longhorns and Case McCoy. And they'll keep it on the ground. And that's a tough yard. Hardrick runs into Brown at the line of scrimmage. Got about a yard out of it. And again, it brings up third down.
Hardrick and Derek Malone, the 2 inside linebackers, have played well this year for Oregon. They're first-year starters, and they both replaced a pair of guys that were 3-year starters. One of those guys, Kiki Alonso, doing pretty well at the next level.
Yeah, I guess. Should be Rookie of the Year defensively in the NFL, in my opinion. Third down and 6. McCoy, swing pass right on the fingertips. Bergeron trying to bang his way to the first down. He might have made it. Boy, he had to break 2 tackles. And Mark Helfrich says, it's right here, a yard shy.
Yeah,
the linesman's giving him a little bit more than that, but I don't think enough.
Well, he was fighting hard for the yardage, and it looked like he might have stepped out of bounds short of the first down. Well, that's good, tough running with the ball.
Kidding. Here's a higher angle. That is really close. It is 4th down and about 2 feet. And Texas down 23-7, going for it. Second man is busting through, and it's Malcolm Brown. Easily a first down. Needed less than a yard. He got about 6.
Well, Oregon's content to let him do this. You know, I mean, they don't want to give up free yards, but more than anything, they don't want to give up an easy score or a play over their head. You know, if Texas wants to continue to run the football and get into 4th down situations, the clock, which Oregon normally doesn't worry too much about, is in their favor right now.
With 10:44 and ticking. And Texas' longest pass play tonight's been 11 yards. Let's see if they get more than that here. He might not get the pass away. He won't. Joe Walker, the outside linebacker, with a sack.
Well, Walker's going to come right through here. and Bergeron's just going to miss him. His eyes go the wrong place. He doesn't see the linebacker. He doesn't end up blocking anybody, and that one should have been picked up by Joe Bergeron, and instead Walker fights his way through for the sack.
The second of the night for the Ducks, and it puts Texas in long yardage again. Second down and 20. Little draw play, almost a face mask in there as Bergeron gets a short gain, but it's going to bring up third down and a bunch. Again, Malcolm Brown can't play every play. He's wanting to come back out there. And Bergeron might be shaken up, and he will come back out. We talked about some teams can get big bunches. Texas has had 9 plays in this drive, Ledge, and they got 24 yards. I mean, those are small increments to get where they are right now at the 27-yard line.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why Oregon's saying, go ahead.
Yeah.
You can keep chipping away at us like that.
Yeah, the clock's down to 9:20.
We're just not going to give up one over our heads.
Third down and 15. McCoy moves his tight end, and in the shotgun, trying to throw on third and long. Steps up, zips it down the middle, intercepted, coming the other way again. For the second time tonight, this is Derek Malone. And Malone is going to score. Touchdown, Oregon. The second pick six of the night for the Ducks defense. 38 yards, touchdown. And that might have been Texas' last chance. They'll obviously get the ball back, but now they're in a huge dilemma. They'll be down 30-7 after this extra point. Which is up and just inside the left upright. 8:55 remaining in the ball game. Derek Malone, the most improved player on the Oregon defense, and an honorable mention, Pac-12 player, his second interception of the year. This one for a touchdown.
The 2013 Valero Alamo Bowl is brought to you by Valero, keeping America moving. USAA, proudly serving the financial needs of current and former military members and their families. And Vonage.
We've got 8:55 remaining, and unless there's a dramatic turnaround in this football game, Mack Brown's 206th game on the sidelines for Texas is not going to be a victory. But he's a surefire Hall of Famer. And his final game was against a team he knew was fast and tough, but they've scored only 1 touchdown offensively, but 2 on interception returns of Case McCoy, including that guy who just took it 38 yards for another score, and it's 30-7. So Matt Wogan's been a busy kicker as both a kick-off artist and an extra point and field goal kicker. And this one goes to the 1-yard line of Marcus Johnson. And Johnson trying to cut it outside. I'll just make it to the 20, and that's it as we go back and show you that interception.
I want to show you what happened to Case McCoy. Here's Derek Malone, and he's going to drop into coverage, and then you're going to see Case McCoy's eyes go one way and lose track. But right here, as he gets ready to scramble, his eyes are looking right here at Mike Davis all the way, and he loses track out of his blind spot where Derek Malone is. Never saw him. That's why he thought he was throwing into an open void. Instead, Derek Malone was waiting on the backside of it to not only intercept it, but take it to the end zone.
Tyrone swoops back out there after Case McCoy has thrown 2 interceptions for touchdowns. And Texas from the 20-yard line. They'll keep it on the ground. Bergeron's going to lose 2 or 3 yards. Got a whole flock of ducks on his back. You know, one coach is going out on a sad note. Nick Aliotti, longtime defensive coordinator, said, you know what? I quit playing football in '75. The next day and the next year I started coaching in '76, and until Monday night, that's all I've ever done. And we said, Nick, what are you going to do? He said, well, I like to hunt birds.
Yeah.
So January 6th, he and his brother Pete are going, no offense, but duck hunting. And then in February, he and 12 other guys are going to Argentina to shoot some more birds. That and a golf game he says needs improving. And he's not going to shoot that duck. And also he loves playing cards.
Yep.
So those are some of the things Nick's got in mind as he approaches this spring his 60th birthday, holding on Texas. But he's one of the all-time characters, and a guy that when you get in a meeting with him.
Number 51, the penalty is declined. 3rd down.
When you get in a meeting with Nick, it's not only a lot of laughs, but he actually will tell you some things.
Yeah.
He told us a couple of things last night, and I won't say what they are. And he said, well, I probably shouldn't have told you that, but what are they going to do, fire me? I'm quitting tomorrow night. They need more Nick Aliottis out there in the world, trust me.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to be around.
Swoops. Going to run it here. And he's got good wheels and shows it. Nice run all the way out near the 45-yard line. Pick up at 25. That's about the biggest play Texas has had tonight. But it's too little and too late. Malcolm Brown has the longest play of the night of 40. And that one goes for 25 to the 45. And now Tyrone looking for a receiver. Trying to buy himself a little extra time. Throws on the run, incomplete. Intended for Shipley.
You know, partner, as you know, I did not do a taste of the town here in San Antonio. But if I would have, it was kind of a hands-down no-brainer. It wouldn't have been at a restaurant. One of our camera guys, Eddie Rodriguez, there he is. He had our whole crew over, and his wife, Juliet, made a authentic Mexican feast last night that was unbelievable. And not just a feast, but a feast for about 40 people. And,
not easy to do.
Outstanding. I mean, no question, hands down, that would have been taste of the town. And I ate like it was taste of the town.
Yeah, I heard you did. That might have been a face mask there. I don't see a call. Second time tonight, I guess I've been seeing things on face masks against quarterbacks. Pickup of 6. So Texas has it back in Oregon territory, but running out of time. 7 minutes remaining. There's the play call. Got a little bit of burgundy. Got a Vespa there. They got Wolfman. They got everything working. Wolverine, not Wolfman. Try to get my superhero straight. 3rd down at 4. Nice protection, but he threw it too far in front of Bergeron. And it brings up 4th down again.
When you talk about this Oregon team as going forward, Mark Helfrich will begin his 2nd year next year. This is a very young football team, particularly offensively. Now they lose some guys in their defense and their defensive secondary. Of course, Alamo still has a decision to make about the NFL, but really Josh Huff is the only senior on that offense that won't be back. Mariota deciding to come back. Their center, Hronis Grasu, deciding to come back. They're a very young, talented team. Will be right in the mix next year.
Swoops with an air ball to Davis, and flags are down. Did he catch it? He did. And a penalty on the aforementioned Alamo.
Defensive back is really at a disadvantage when a ball is underthrown. That's why you see so many back shoulder throws.
Defense number 14, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
You're out there on an island with a big receiver and you're running stride for stride and you have no idea the ball's underthrown. And when that receiver tries to come back, it's hard to get out of the way.
And you saw it was a one-hop between the arms of Davis, who almost made an acrobatic catch, but with the penalty, they got it at the 34-yard line. So 2 of the bigger plays tonight, a run by Swoops and a pass interference on this drive for Texas. And now Malcolm Brown trying to do his thing, and he's going to be wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Christian French and Taylor Harder there. And we're down to 6:25 to play. Don't forget Arizona State and Texas Tech follows us from San Diego. Right on cue. Number 14, Arizona State, lost the Pac-12 championship on their home field. The only game they lost at home this year to the Stanford Cardinal. It will be in the Granddaddy Mall against Michigan State in the Rose Bowl. He swoops, rolling to throw, and now he's going to tuck it and get what he can. And run out of bounds after a short gain as we check in with Holly.
Well, for Mack Brown, as we've mentioned, this is his last game for Texas, but he is still the president of the AFCA, the American Football Coaches Association, so he will go to their convention and fulfill his duties there. And then he said, I'm going away. He said, I'm not going to be involved in the coaching hire. I'm not going to talk to the new coach. I want him to come in and have a clean slate to figure out the landscape himself like I did and try to heal some of these wounds at Texas. And then he said, my beautiful wife, Sally, she gets to make all the decisions from January for the next 6 months.
Yeah, Sally wasn't buying that completely. Third down, throw completes, and really close for Greg Daniels, and he might have the first down. Todd and I saw Sally down in the tunnel before the game. She had kind of a sad look on her face, obviously, after being with Mack at North Carolina and developing a program there. They made their move here in December. 16 years ago. Early December, 16 years ago, and 158 wins later. And now in the final 5 minutes on the sideline for the Horns. Flags down. Probably going to have a holding call.
Well, the Texas football job is a great job. There's no question about that. They have tremendous resources, facilities, recruiting base.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. First down.
There, I finally got my face mask call.
Yeah. But in their search, they will be lucky to find somebody that over the long haul does as good of a job as Mack Brown has done here in his 16 years at Texas.
This is his 15th bowl game. He was 10-4 in bowls coming in, having won 9 of the last 11, 7 of the last 8. And this one, unfortunately, on his way out is not going to be a win. Trailing a very good Oregon team, 30-7. Swoops, pump fakes one way and rifles it the other, and diving attempt by Kendall Sanders, but it's incomplete. And good coverage over there by Terrence Mitchell.
You know, the good thing for Swoops here is you could say, well, he's in there late in the game working against backups, but he's not, because the first team Oregon defense is still on the field. So he's going against the number ones, and he's put a pretty nice drive together here.
This one looked like a little miscommunication, but he runs it inside the 5. A pickup of 7.
Similar to Swoops, David Ash is a dual threat guy, both of them much more so than Case McCoy.
And this time Swoops is going down for a loss. Oregon played it beautifully. Rodney Hardrick, the middle linebacker, on the stop, and it's 4th down. It's funny, you look out there and you see Swoops at 6'4", 245 pounds, and you kind of see Vince Young.
Yeah.
And then you think back to the Rose Bowl National Championship. Doesn't seem like that long ago that Mack won the national title. And then Colt McCoy for 4 years as a starter. Had a shot at another one against Alabama in 2009.
Offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
And as we kind of said at the beginning of the game, there have been some misfires, some recruiting things that didn't turn out, that type of thing, and they haven't had a great quarterback since, Colt. And with that, that's how it's a quarterback-driven league even in college now.
Well, it's become that.
In the NFL.
Yeah, it's become that. It's always been that way in the NFL, but it's become that way in college football now, with so much decisions made at the line of scrimmage with no huddle, the ability to be a dual threat guy. It's become a quarterback league. Just look at the Heisman winners over the last several years.
Yep.
It's not running backs anymore, it's quarterbacks.
Might be a last chance here, throwing back across his body, and it's intended for Sanders and incomplete. And the Ducks will take over on downs with 3:23 remaining and a comfortable 30-7 lead. Capital One Bowl Week continues tomorrow. Triple header on ESPN. 12:30 Arizona and Boston College get together in the AdvoCare V100 Bowl. At 4, it's Rice and Mississippi State in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And then Chick-fil-A Bowl will kind of ring in the new year, or take out this year anyway, as Duke and Texas A&M get together. Capital One Bowl Week continuing tomorrow. All games on ESPN.
An interesting article in the San Antonio paper this morning suggesting that Johnny Manziel said he's nowhere near making a decision about the NFL next year. A lot of people just kind of assuming that's a done deal. There's some Aggie fans holding out hope, I would guess.
Ball start, offense number 77, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, if it gets to the point where he's pretty much assured that he'd be a first-round draft choice, most people think that he would go.
Yep.
And this guy that's wearing number 8 out here tonight, that's soon to be our player of the game, he would have been a high pick too, but he's decided to come back, and that makes Oregon one of the favorites next year for sure, along with guys like Byron Marshall, who just ripped off another 9-yard run.
Well, again, he's a highly competitive guy, very humble guy. And so he would never really say how disappointed or upset he might have been by the so-called Heisman snub at the end of the year. But I would believe that would drive him and motivate him very strongly this offseason and into the 2014 season leading this Oregon team.
He sure got all the tools, that's for sure. Second down and a yard. He's done running tonight, but his tailback won't be. And Marcus Mariota is our Capital One player of the game. He did it with his legs early and then started ripping some of those laser passes and ended up at this point 18 out of 26, 253 yards and a touchdown, and 133 on 15 carries tonight. So our congratulations to Marcus. And you know, Mark Helfrich is going to be 11-2 in his first season. That's not too bad.
Not bad.
Chip Kelly went 46-7 his 4 years as head coach, and now has the Eagles in the playoffs. And this guy jumped into that seat. And we said, Todd asked him yesterday, what was the biggest transition? He says, there's just a lot of stuff.
A lot more stuff. Yeah.
When you're a position coach, it's one thing. When you're a coordinator, it's another thing. When you're a head coach, there's a lot of stuff. And the 40-year-old Oregon native has handled it beautifully and put together a sensational season for this team as they're about to be 11-2.
Yeah, I think, again, I mentioned something about the continuity of the Oregon staff. It's very unique in college football because there's several assistants who have been in place through not just 2 head coaches, but 3 head coaches. Gary Campbell, the running back coach, has been at Oregon 31 years. The offensive line coach, Steve Greatwood, 27 years. The strength and conditioning coach, Jim Radcliffe, has been there 29 years. Don Pelham, linebacker coach, 21 years. That's very unusual to see a staff like that.
Again, just keeping it on the ground and close to a first down as we're down to the final minutes. Reminder, stay tuned on ESPN3 for the postgame trophy ceremony presented by Capital One immediately following the game. So as a first-year head coach goes out with a win, a guy that's been doing it 29 years will go out with a loss. And Mac told us yesterday, I don't want this to be a funeral or a farewell march. This should be a celebration for my kids who fought their guts out all year. And they fought tonight for their coach, but going to come up short. I've known Mac Brown for 30 years. And we go back to when he was at North Carolina, and there were some bad ACC games, and he put together a fine ACC program in North Carolina, and tonight he caps it. So we wish he and Sally and the rest of the Browns the very best in what is next. But he's a Hall of Famer. Just couldn't quite win number 245 tonight. Oregon too much and too good, and he knows it. And they win it, the Ducks, 30-7 tonight. And there's a little respect. Marcus Mariota for the hug for the coach. And as you can see by the number of cameras, there's a lot of people that think as highly of Mac Brown as Todd and Holly and I do. One of the class acts of all time in college football.
Well,
Mark Helfrich told us this week it's been like a mini coach's clinic being around Mack Brown, learning what it takes to be a head coach over the long haul, not just a 1 or 2 year wonder, but doing it over many years and doing it with class.
Mack's press conference will be on ESPN2. We've just been informed. So all of you that want to see that on ESPN2 and Sports Center, we hope you stick around for that. But the winning coach right now is with Holly.
Well, Coach Helfrich, that's your first bowl win for you as a head coach. I was wondering, is this your first Gatorade bath?
That is, and it's cold.
How was it?
It was awesome. Just our guys just battled, believed in each other, and played it. That's a great football team, and obviously a legend, an icon in football, and Mack Brown, and to go out against him, I've been saying all week, I feel like I should wear a black hat all week because I've been the bad guy in this deal, but just a full team win. You know, it didn't play very cleanly in the beginning. Our defense played great. Obviously, two pick sixes. It gives us a chance, but a huge team win.
You guys talked about using this as a springboard into next season. What helped you tonight that you'll build from?
Just momentum. You know, we have a very young team. We're not allowed to say that, but we have a very young team. We had a bunch of guys early in the first half, some true freshmen make some mistakes, and they both came back and made some big plays in the second half. So just growing up.
Thank you, Coach. And hey, congrats on that bath. I love that. That's your first one.
Thanks, Holly. Appreciate it.
Well, his team put up 469 more yards of offense tonight. That sets the school record. And 20 plays of 10 yards or more, and that will get you wet as a first-year head coach. Mack Brown couldn't get one more victory for Texas, but his team gave it all they could. They lose it tonight 30-7. We'll be right back.